Innovating Education Learning World in association with WISE, an initiative of Qatar Foundation.
The media fascinates and influences many young people, but few understand what a varied industry it is. This week on Learning World, we head to France, Haiti and the US to see how students are mastering skills from creating radio reports to becoming an actor. Join us now. Cinema is basically the art of telling a story through sound and vision, but it takes great skill. And where better to teach children the A to Z of cinema than in the place where the art was invented, the French city of Lyon. And that's where we head now.
Today, school children of all ages can go to the Institut Lumière in Lyon to learn the language of the cinema, which of course has developed and changed over the last 100 years. One of the teachers explains.
It's essential for the students to decipher the language of the images because the audio-visual world is all around them, particularly television. They don't always understand how they must go behind the film, learn to analyze it, and the words which go with the pictures as well.
60 students spend a full afternoon learning how to read a film, to see how a script is put together, how it's joined up, and how to construct a sequence which will provide a narrative for the viewer. At the Institut Lumière, the students are shown audiovisual sequences and are often involved in a light-hearted way. It is not a teaching course, and students are constantly asked to analyse the grammar of the film.
The visual message is composed of a dozen components: light, scenery, characters, costumes, movement, objects, music, sound, dialogue, and many more. It teaches the student to identify the order of these components, because the combination of them creates an effect that's beyond the comprehension of the viewer. By learning to identify how they are put together and their order, rather than watching the images, you can fully appreciate the film.
In fact, students no longer look at a sequence in the same way after it has been taken apart. They understand how the scenes are made up and how they can be faked.
We learned a lot. It was very interesting, making the connections on all we could see and what we saw in the advertisements. And now we'll see.
I really enjoyed this conference. It made a lot of technical sense to me. It taught me how to watch TV in a different way. Now I can see the fine detail, not necessarily in advertisements or action movies, but in political debates.
It changed our point of view towards the media, advertisements and films, and allows us to pay more attention to what we see and what it means.
Everyone greatly appreciated what they learned at the conference. While the teachers are pleased, students will now be able to look at a film with a sharper critical eye.
Students are now confronted with a lot of different media outlets which deal with reality. They can create stories themselves with the tools of the trade. Any student can get hold of mixers, editing equipment. They must now be very aware of the fact because they see something it is not necessarily true.
Students will now surely look at what a film, television and the internet has to offer them in a different way.
Haiti has long made headlines and proved a fertile ground for journalists. But in this report, we explore a different kind of media experience. We follow young people who are learning how to turn their issues and problems into radio reports. Let's find out more.
The child shall have the right to freedom of expression. Article 13 of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. More than 20 years after that article was adopted and ratified, UNICEF Haiti decided to give children their own voice on issues affecting their community.
Children should have the right to speak in public. Sometimes children have something important to say and adults don't hear them. They say they don't have the right to speak amongst adults. They say it's rude.
Last November, UNICEF Haiti and PANOS, an organisation which helps journalists to cover sustainable development issues, invited 9 teenagers from the ages of 14 to 17 to take part in a week-long radio training workshop in Port-au-Prince, where they learn skills like recording in situ, script writing, narration and audio editing.
The exercise of doing the reporting, of choosing the subject, of putting your own voice on the radio and saying, you know, in your own words what you think is the problem that needs to be fixed or what is the issue that you're encountering empowering, and also asking adults and folks in authority to answer the questions for you that you have about why such problems exist in your community. That in itself can be empowering for you.
Shea Levitt is the radio journalist who leads the training team. Most of the trainees came from the IDP camps. The training team encouraged them to use their own words, to come up with their own original ideas, and to put forward solutions for the challenges on which they reported.
From talking to the kids here, it sounds like a lot of kids live in communities where there are a lot of orphans, a lot of children whose parents are not there. Even if they live somewhere else, they're not there to take care of them. And there was a big sentiment among the kids of, you know, whose responsibility is it?
With the help of some basic digital audio equipment, the young journalists produced stories and issues about clean water, access to medical care and education, and child protection and sexual violence against young people. The stories were aired on Haiti's national radio stations.
I would like there to be more security in the country, to put an end to sexual violence against young girls and boys. This is Magdala reporting.
Good.
Being a celebrity is a dream for many, including the very young. In New York, one of the most reputed film schools runs a course aiming to teach children how to become famous actors and provide them with the tools they need to do so. More now in this report.
Lana is 14 years old and is enrolled in the New York Film Academy Teens program.
If you believe it, Lana, the audience will pick up on it. You got to believe in yourself. Action.
In 10 years' time, Lana sees herself in Hollywood with at least 3 movies and a TV show under her belt.
I think I would be able to start next year my career because I have some experience, but I need to work on it. I am so confident it's what I want.
Located in the elegant Union Square, Manhattan, the New York Film Academy offers hands-on intensive classes and degree courses to a usually older group of students. Most of them come here after high school to pursue a Master of Fine Arts or to get, during an intensive few weeks workshop, the technical knowledge to land that first job. But the industry is getting younger. Elizabeth is 10 years old.
I thought I was a drama queen. Yeah, I love to play romances or something with my friends. I was like that and everything, but it was just childish or something, yeah, like that. But I'm really dreaming of becoming a professional actress.
To be natural on stage, the kids have to go back not so long ago when they played freely and without any boundaries or restraints. That's why learning to act is usually easier for them than for grown-ups. Most of them, New York Film Academy teachers say, are completely at ease in front of the camera within a few weeks.
The kids are just hungry for information to do this stuff. They haven't completely lost the sense of play. In French you say jouer, and we want to keep that sense of jeu.
The school offers various courses, from 6 weeks intensive camps to weekend classes, to allow children to continue their studies while trying to become a star. It doesn't leave them with a lot of free time. Still, the teachers insist that most of the children are driven by their own ambition, not by their parents. Joanne and Benny are thinking about starting next year.
There's so many cheap cameras now, and with things like the rise of YouTube, I just think there's just all these ways you can share your creativity with other people without this pressure that you've got to be the next Spielberg. But if that is the direction he ends up going, you want to start young on, because the younger you start, the more kind of chops you have to take it further.
I taught children as young as 6. And to me, that was not too young. From primary school, I think they can learn how to act. I think it's maybe cruel to have kids be professional actors at that age unless they have a really good family support system and they're allowed to be kids as well as working actors.
Benny is a small boy of 8, but his dreams are big.
Could you see yourself on a huge, great screen?
How big are we talking?
You can be part of this media world with Learning World. So drop us your thoughts and stories via our social media pages. And before we go, a word about our poll on schools in the 21st century. Some of you believe that in the future we should rely on new technology more than on traditional methods in the classroom. That's it for now. Goodbye.
Learning World in association with WISE, an initiative of Qatar Foundation.